to make a shopping list. The kids are going to want snacks.
Don't feed them, Kitty. That's how it started the first time.
I am going to get Fritos, Tostitos, Doritos, all the Eatos. I am back, baby.
Son of a bitch.
Hanging out down the street.
I got it.
Hey, Grandma. Hey, Grandpa.
Leia.
Tell me about Chicago. What are you into? I'm a pretty big deal in debate club. That's not up for debate. Yeah, I'm not popular.
Hey, new girl.
Leia, you should buy the tab.
Pause. This isn't gonna work. I'm pretty sure Osh Gosh Begosh here is gonna get carded.
Oh, look, Nick. Shooting star. Make a wish.
That's a firework, babe.
Wish I could stay for the summer.
Then stay.
Okay, kids, the basement is all yours.
Your grandma just hooked us up. What is it? Leia, do you want to hear about the Donkey Kong conspiracy?
He's a gorilla.
Interesting. It's kind of like how Sheryl Crow isn't actually a crow.
Totally. If you're worried about fitting in with everyone else, you found the people who don't fit in. I still can't believe Jay didn't kiss you.
Oh, my God!
My guy's got a bunch of salons. You may have seen his commercials.
Welcome back to Chair Fest. It's always an honor to have your hair in my chair.
Why did you open our house to chaos again? All the dumbasses were gone.
I love having the house full again. It fills me with joy.
Eric's having a hard time with Leia.
Look, all I know is that I'm going to love her and stand behind her no matter what.
That is a great idea. Because when you stand behind your kids, it's easier
To put your foot in
foot
their
in your
ass.
ass.
Yeah, we got it, Dan. Thanks.
I love Wisconsin!
Oh no, Wisconsin. Oh. I really wanted to like this. I really, really did. Fans of that 70s show might have recognized some of those faces, and certainly they would recognize Red and Kitty, the parents of Eric, whose basement they gave over to Eric and his friends to sit in, and little did they know, they got smashed on some pot and, of course, hung out, and fun ensued, relationships started and ended, and all of those sorts of things. What we see with that 90s show is, look, and I'm going to be showing my age here. Before photocopiers were a commonality in the grand world of schooling and those sorts of things, particularly schools, if teachers needed to make copies of a worksheet or those sorts of things, they had to use a thing called a Gestetner, which was this kind of alcohol-based weird thing where you would create a master and roll it through the Gestetner, and then the paper would come in, and in this kind of purplish ink kind of stuff, a copy would be made, and you'd keep feeding paper through and you'd make those copies. But of course, that as the ink or whatever it was dried, ran out, the copies would start to pale compared to what the original looked like. And it always smelled so beautiful. Fresh copies out of the Gestetner was great. But it's that paling that we see here in that 90s show. It's just not great. The basic premise, it kicks off with Eric and Donna, who are now together permanently, come home for Independence Day weekend with their daughter, Leia. That's not the end of the Star Wars jokes, friends, so buckle up. And Leia decides to stay for summer with her grandparents, Red and Kitty. She makes friends with the neighbor, who introduces her to her friends, and the rest you saw in the original series. It's exactly the same. They just situation, and let's get beer, and we're now getting smashed, and relationships. Oh, it is the schmaltziest. It is the schmaltziest of US sitcom premises. The writing is poor, the jokes aren't new, and they are not good, and the laugh track is overpowering. There are only so many 90s references that you can mine, and they must have gotten their source from a slag heap. Ugh, it is just difficult to watch. Now, if you love it, great. Get involved in it, love it sick. I found this so difficult to watch. Now, of course, they draw back a whole bunch of the original cast to pop up in cameos of various length, if that's worth anything. It was great to see Ashton Kutcher pop up, and it was excellent to see Topher Grace and Laura Prepon as Eric and Donna, respectively. I got to say that Wilma Valderrama's Fez was the absolute high point. And so funny, good script. Ches Fez, that he's a hairdresser, of course he is. That he's a ladies' man, of course he is. It's delightful. Kurtwood Smith reprises his role as Red. Deborah Jo Rupp reprises her role as Kitty. And largely, they've done okay. They don't look like they've aged too much, but don't look closely. And after that, mate, Kelly Haverda as Leia is probably the high point of the New Kids. If you want to get into this, that 90s show is on Netflix. All 10 eps are available now. I mean, really, if you want to.